and share screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. I really appreciate it. I am Professor Darrell White. I have been teaching online, and let me apologize for my 3-year-old who's breaking into my office. All right, so I'm Professor Darrell White, and I've been teaching online now for about 8 years now. I've taught several subjects for multiple universities. I won't list out each of the subjects that I've taught previously, but the subjects are in the business discipline. We have business statistics for Grand Canyon class. I want to really expand on this is a difficult class. It's difficult for 2 reasons. Excel for most individuals is a new technology or an unused technology, so to speak. And statistics is just one of those things where I kind of consider you're either math-brained or you're not, right? I think it can be learned. I think you can develop tips and tools to improve on statistics, but that's just my own theory. I don't have a research paper to support it. That's just my own theory. So anytime you combine multiple difficult principles, you have a combustible mix, if you will. So if you please take my word for it, this class can be difficult. It takes time to read the material, practice, and produce some of the assignments. So I'm very active. I'm very helpful. I give a lot of tips. I give a lot of clues. I have an open forum. I'm here at the end of the day to ensure that you all get an education. I'm not here to fail anyone. However, I will also say that in my years' experience, all students don't show up to this class prepared to put in the work that's required. Okay, so having said that, that is my caveat. So let's kind of review some things right off the bat. One of the things that I want to get involved in is how to show your work in Excel. So far we good. We understand that this class can be difficult, but I don't want anybody here to drop this course. I've said that to get your attention, not to scare you off. I'm going to give you guys the roadmap to survive in this class, and with a little bit of effort and following that roadmap, you all should be fine. Are we okay with that? Everybody okay with that? Okay. Yes, sir. So tip number 1, how to show your work in Excel. And so I'm going to pull up an example or 2 examples that I use how to show your work. And first and foremost, both of these examples are listed in the announcement section of our class, how to show your work. All right, example number 1. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. All right, so I'll make sure I get over to. Let's start with an actual question and a number set. All right, the question says, A, compute the mean, median, and mode. B, compute the range, variance, standard deviation, and coefficient variance. All right. C says compute the Z-score. Are there any outliers? Describe the data shape. All right, so we have a problem, and it's listed A through D. What does the assignment require? Right? What is our given? Right? We have the numbers are our given, and this is cell C13 down to C. So first and foremost, does everybody understand that every cell has a cell address?
Yes, sir.
All right. If there's anybody that does not understand that, stop me now. So, for instance, The number 12 is in cell C, which is in column C, and row 14, I'm sorry, C14. All right? All right. Okay, now, so in order to calculate mean is another way of saying average. Okay? So average is tally up all of the numbers and divide all of the numbers by the total number of data points that you have. So in other words, in theory, the mean for this data set is 12 plus 7 plus 4 plus 9 plus 0 plus 7 plus 3 divided by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, divided by 7, right? So let me show you the, according to my example, the incorrect way to solve for the mean for this particular problem, right? So here, this is the incorrect way. Notice mean is equal to 12 plus 7 plus 4 plus 9 plus 0 plus 7 plus 3 divided by 7 equals 6. Well, Professor, you just told me that that's how you solve for the problem. In this class is not about writing out calculations. This class is about commanding Excel to do the work, right? So this is a very elementary example. What do you mean? So if I double click in the cell that I've solved the mean, all Excel commands, whether they are standard commands or you're asking it to do what the calculator will do, starts with the equal symbol, right? Hence, if you guys look at the formula section, equal. And let's just say I started with a blank cell, equal, right? What is the command for mean? Because I'm experienced in Excel, I know the command for mean is average, so I start typing A, V, E, and here I notice average pops up, right? I double click on average, it opens an open parentheses, right? If I don't know how to type in the commands, here it shows the number 1. From experience, if I know I want to capture all of these cells, I click in the first cell, left click, hold down, and drag, right? Notice how the cells C14 through C20 is populated. I close parentheses, and I hit return. So let me stop. So does everybody understand the difference between the incorrect method here shown to the right and the proper method here shown to the left?
Yes, sir.
Yes. This is one of the major bases for our course. Now, that's just one way to show it. Let's say toward the end of chapter 3, right? At the end of every chapter, in the appendix of every chapter, there is sort of like Cliff Notes or a cheat sheet on how to use Excel commands, right? And we have a new textbook. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick and give you an example of what I'm talking about. Okay. Sorry for not being fully prepared here. I want to get to the end of chapter 3. Okay, so I'll start with the title here, and then I'll scroll down and find. Okay, so chapter 3, Excel guide, right? At the end of every chapter, there is an Excel guide which gives you some tips and tricks on how to solve for Excel functions, right? So let's say we discovered average being one of the functions, right? So let's say I continue to look. One of the tools that we have is the data analysis tool pack, right? So if I search the Excel guide on chapter 3, I want to look for the analysis tool pack. So here on my page 137, it says the analysis tool pack using descriptive statistics. It says, for example, open the data worksheet of the Times workbook, and it sort of takes you through how to use a descriptive statistics. You might be thinking to yourself, does that really help me? So as you continue to read, what you will find is using the descriptive statistics will give you your mean, median, and mode, along with some other statistics in one shot. Okay? So, for example, here is the output, and I'm going to highlight this in yellow when I use the descriptive statistics. And so what I'll do is I'll just go through a command for you. Let's say the problem says solve for mean, median, and mode. I've already shown that you can go into Excel and type in manual command, right? Mm-hmm. So let's look at another way. So I've loaded the data analysis tool pack. Go to Sorry about that. My data analysis tool pack seems to have disappeared, so I'm going to reload it. Add-ins. Apologize for the technical difficulties. Should be listed on the data. Okay, let me try and
if you click Go, Professor, at the bottom under add-ins, that should add it, highlight it, and
there you go. There you go. There you go. Thanks for that.
Sure.
Okay, so if we're starting fresh, we go to our data analysis, and we've known by reading the Excel guide that we can get multiple function out of descriptive statistics. Your input range is your data range. So I'm going to click on the arrow, and I highlight the title as well as all of the data points. Click on Go, columns, which we are. And here is key. Since I highlighted the title of the column, which is numbers, I want to tell data analysis toolpack that I selected the label in the first row. Okay. Now I also want to tell the program where I want to output the actual answer. So I'm clicking into an open space. I'm going to tell it to drop it down here in cell N39 and below. Now I want the summary statistics as well as some of the other statistics. And I'm going to click OK. And notice how just by using a single command data analysis toolpack, it gave me the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, sample variance, and several other factors by using the data analysis toolpack. Finally, what I would say is many students will go in and alter the output from data analysis toolpack. Do not alter your output, right? When I say do not alter your output, don't take and color your output or relabel it. You want to find an open space, something representable, and leave your outputs directly as it would listed out of data analysis toolpack. Why do you want to do this? If you alter the way your output comes out, you clear out a lot of this other data, and when you submit your spreadsheet, notice how when I click into these cells, there are no formulas embedded, right? So if you alter the output, me as a professor can't tell if you have typed these numbers in or you have used the data analysis toolpack to spit them out. Each function, depending upon what function you use, will have a particular output. So notice in those answers that I've typed the answers, notice that you have formulas that come in. On the data analysis tool outputs, there are no formulas, but I am well aware of how the output dispatches out of the data analysis toolpack. So I've said a lot. I want to stop right there. Does everybody understand that showing work, either you want to type in commands, whether it be a physical command, or, and I'll show you one other way. So let's say we've looked at what a command looked like, right? We've looked at what does data analysis look like. And let's look at what if we want to program manually, right, how to calculate this. I'm even okay with the manual calculation. Starts out with equal symbol, right? Open parentheses, 12 plus 7 plus 4 plus 9 plus 0 plus 7 plus 3 divided by or /7, hit return. It's the same answer, right? Comes out to 6. So there are multiple ways to get at answers. It's to each student's benefit to read and study to find out which method works for the individual student. Our textbook will give you several different ways. It will give you the mathematical route. It's not going to say type in the equal symbol and add up 12 plus 7 plus 4 plus 9. It will give you the formula, all the summarization of all data points divided by the total number of data points is what you'll get from the textbook. So does everybody understand where I'm going here?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Moving forward, our example 3.2.1 is very similar, right? If you click in my orange data cells, and I won't get into more formulas here, but I merely want to show you, if you look up into the function section, notice how Excel formulas start with the equal symbol, and there's a formula associated with how to solve for the minimum value in a 5-month summary. I don't expect for students to know these by heart. I expect for students to read research and understand through exercise how to develop these formulas. All right, so that's one of the major things that a lot of students don't get. The difference between listing, written calculations, and how to show your work. If you all can gather that point, then you will do well in this class. All right?
So, Professor, I have a question. This is Dan, if that's okay.
Okay.
When you mentioned using the data analysis tool pack, for the example you gave with, what was it? Just trying to think of the verbiage here. The descriptive statistics. So when we generate that and solve for the answer for whatever data we have, that's sufficient, you said, right? We don't have to show the work there because the descriptive statistic table produces what you need to see. Is that right?
Correct. Now, the caveat that I mentioned was you don't want to go in and after I've solved for the descriptive statistics, right? Let's just, I'm going to take the yellow highlight out. I did that to show you. Let's say
just don't modify anything.
Right. You come in and you decide, well, I don't like that title. I'm going to blow that title away. And I'm going to come in and block off each of these cells. And I'm going to go in and pick in the border. I'm going to go in and also make everything bold. And once you have altered how it looks to the professor, I'm going to go in and say, okay, this looks like a neat table. And once I click into each of these cells, I'm going to say, well, there's no work. It's all numbers. That's not sufficient. Now, because I'm experienced, if I see this table in a certain order, right, knowing mean is at the top, standard error, median, and most of these other criteria follow, I may add some leniency and say this student used the data analysis tool pack, but all right. So I may show lenience in this situation, but my point is when the data analysis tool pack spits out an output, don't alter.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. So moving along, where to find Excel files and guidebooks. So you will come across in our book, and let me scroll back to a particular problem. Let's say we were required to work on problem 3.74. 3.74 says the file domestic beer contains the percentage alcohol, number of calories per 12 ounces. And I'm not going to read the full problem, but what I want to show you is the blue rectangular bar with a file name is an Excel file. All right. You're going to say, where do I find the domestic beer file? The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to point you to our announcement section of class. And I apologize here, my internet is freezing up a little bit. You have to love technology. So let's see if I can start up another section of class. Basically, I've posted in the announcement section where to, I've given the class a URL where to find Excel guidebooks as well as Excel data files. So bear with me as our class shell comes online. I promise you, I have excellent internet. This will be the one night that it would have some trouble. Sorry for the inconvenience. And as I put the announcement section, I should have an announcement where to find your Excel data files and guidebooks. Okay, everyone, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excel files and guidebook templates. If you click in that announcement, there is a URL that will take you to the publisher's website. And if each of you have not already gone here, I advise you to go here and download both your Excel data files and your Excel guidebooks. So the Excel data files, if you click on the hyperlink, it will give you a zip file of all of the Excel data files required with this particular textbook. Now, don't alarm yourselves. We're not going to use every file that pulls up in the zip file. We will use about 10 to 15 of these Excel data files throughout the class. So that's one of the things that I wanted to point out, where to find the blue rectangular data Excel file throughout our textbook. Has everyone gone in and downloaded the zip file for the Excel data file and had already read the announcement?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, great. You guys are doing wonderful. You guys are doing wonderful. Okay, so I'll continue to move forward.
So, a quick question. I'm sorry, Professor. The Excel data files and Excel workbook are the only thing we're going to need there, right? Are we going to need the mini tab data files and the other workbooks that are on that page?
No, the only files that I've ever used are the Excel data files and the Excel guide workbooks.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. So now that we're here on the same page, starting in week 3, I will begin to suggest different guidebooks to use in a given week. Now, I won't tell you guidebook ABC will help you with problem 3.21. What I will do is I will give you a block of Excel guidebook for a given week. Let's say in week 3, I will give you the names or the titles of 4 guidebooks, right? The Excel guidebooks, what they are Excel worksheets that have pre-built formulas into them, right? And these are usually complex formulas that take time to learn to embed into Excel. So rather than ask students to remember all of the particular Excel formulas, the university and the publisher said, well, on some of the more complex formulas, why don't we build workbooks for students and ask the students to input the data set and interpret the results rather than go in and try to list all of the commands. I thought that was very helpful. And as the Excel guidebooks open up here, I'll share one with you. In fact, I've got one on my hard drive. I'll go in. I'll go in on my hard drive here, and I'll just pull up Excel guidebook. So I'll just select one. CIE proportion. So this is confidence interval. You guys are learning about confidence intervals, and I think it's weeks 6 and 7. So what you'll find and don't try to interpret this guidebook and memorize this guidebook. I merely want to show you the functionality of a guidebook. What you have is the teal greenish section is the input section. You will have calculations usually in the white section. Your answers will come out in the yellow or khaki highlighted sections. Much like the data analysis tool pack, don't alter your white or your yellow sections. Your sections to alter would be the green section. So let's just say I remove let's just say I deleted the answers here in the green section, right? Notice how we get in the answer column here, we get errors. So I merely want to show you all that the green section is the input section. Where will you get some of this information, right? This information usually will be given depending upon the problem that you're trying to solve. Okay, so it's not like the professor's creating numbers here. What the student will be asked to do is read whatever homework problem you have due and extract according to the given how much was the sample size, right? Sample size was 10 in this example. Successes was sample size was 100. Number of successes was 10. Confidence interval was 95% based upon given. And what you'll find is, notice how in the answer section or the formula type session, numbers are populated. Now, I want to just, if we click in some of these cells, notice how if we look up in the function bar, here's a function equal cell B5 divided by B4, right? That's basically saying the number of successes divided by the sample size, your sample proportion. Again, these will most likely be called out as given formulas in the book, but because there's 4 formulas are required in order to get to a final confidence interval, a guidebook is prepared on your behalf, and you have to interpret the givens in a problem, fill in the teal green section, interpret the answer in the khaki. Now, I know that's a lot, and you're wondering, how am I going to pick up on all of these things? This is week 6 or week 7. We progressively get here, okay? So I merely intended to show you the functionality of a guide workbook. I don't expect for you to fully grasp this particular example. I merely wanted you to know and understand that the green section is student input, usually will be given in our textbook, and once you fill in the green section, the yellow khaki highlighted section is where your answers are. Now, if you're a curious person like me, and if I don't understand how to input all of these formulas, I'm going to go input my given, and after I've